The Quiet Place, Megan Horde, Night of the Dead, major suites, and shorter wait times. This year's Halloween Horror Nights 33 in Universal Orlando is shaping up to be one of the best Halloween Horror Nights ever. Hello everybody, welcome. Today we are going to be talking about everything that we know, everything that is confirmed, and some speculation of a lot of the things that you've been wanting to know about with Halloween Horror Nights 33, from scare zones to the icon for the year. If you are a huge Halloween Horror Nights fan like we are, this is going to be such an awesome episode. Let's get going. This year's Halloween Horror Nights is the biggest it has ever been, with an astounding 48 nights of fear. It is running from August 30th through November 3rd this year. This year, for the very first time, they've actually added a premium Scream night. This is a special paid event prior to the actual opening on August 29th. And it is 6:30 p.m. until 2 o'clock a.m. I think it's something that they're testing out to see if they can charge even more money. Is it going to bring more people in and also give people a better experience? Are people willing to pay for a better experience for Halloween Horror Nights? It has been more and more crowded, especially in Orlando. Orlando has a huge fan base, and the event has just become so crowded that you're waiting 2-3 hours in line each night for a house. You're waiting an hour just for food or drinks. That is how crowded it is getting. So the premium Scream Night tickets are on sale right now. You can go out and get them today. It is limited capacity. So they're touting all the benefits of this particular night, which is less crowds, staggered entry to the houses, which is one of my biggest complaints about Halloween Horror Nights, is it is a continuous stream of people. They don't break it up by groups at all. And so a lot of times you see the scare coming a mile away because they scared the 5 people in front of you, and you're like, yeah, well, I know that dude's about to jump out right now. So it's always been one of my most disappointing things about Halloween Horror Nights. Now they are good about creating lots of bends in the house so that you don't see as much ahead of time, but it still is kind of a little bit of a disappointment. So I do think the staggered entry I'm a fan of. But if you know anything about Halloween Horror Nights, there's so many people there, they can't do it on the regular nights because the wait times would skyrocket to 4 and 5 hours. So I actually think that's a huge benefit if you really want to get the most out of the houses. Also, all you can eat, all you care to enjoy food is included in this ticket price. And of course, less wait times. They're estimating less than 30 minutes of wait per house because of the limited capacity. So this could actually be a really good deal if you're interested. You got a little bit of extra money to spend, unlimited food, why not give it a rip? Now I will say it's less money to do the Express Pass for the regular Halloween Horror Nights. So if you're going to the regular nights and you want to pay $280, $275, somewhere around there, you can get Express Pass, which allows you to basically skip the line for every single house. So if you want to do all the houses really quickly and still get the opening night or the opening week's experience, you can do that as well, and it's a little bit cheaper. You don't get all the free food that's included in this package, also not the staggered groups, so it's not the same experience really, but that is also an option. It's a little bit cheaper. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I have a feeling it's going to go well, and they're going to pretty much probably sell out, and then they may start actually doing this for multiple days prior, and maybe even doing it in Hollywood. I don't know. Hollywood, I don't think has as big of crowds. They don't have as huge of a fan base as Orlando does, but maybe. So let's jump right into the map. I'm going to throw it up right now. We're going to talk a little bit about what's on this map and all the confirmed and speculation houses and scare zones and shows and everything that we know and we are thinking that we know, but we don't have confirmation on just yet. Let's start off with just the IPs. Each year, the IPs are some of the biggest draws for people to come to the event. And in previous years, Halloween Horror Nights 28, they had 4 IPs. Halloween Horror Nights 29 was 5 IPs. During the COVID years, they were back down to 3 IPs. Then it was 4 to 5 IPs last year if you include the Megan Horde And just so we're clear, when I talk about IPs, I don't include the Universal Monsters. Even though that's technically an IP, I don't include that because they sort of have that every year. It's a Universal property. I kind of leave that out of the equation. So if you want to include that in the equation, great. Just +1 all the numbers that I just said. So this year, it looks like we're back down to 3, unfortunately. I get it. I understand. Universal, you are doing so much in the next few years. It's ridiculous. You're opening up Epic Universe. By the way, Epic Universe, we're thinking we're getting a May opening time frame for that. So they've moved it up from summer to May. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing so much stuff. So you know what? I'm going to give you a pass this year that I understand you probably couldn't afford because you've got all your money tied up in Epic Universe and all the things that you're doing across your properties. I'm gonna give you a pass. Just 3 IPs this year, it looks like. So we'll get into what those IPs are in just a little bit, but I want to talk about the icon for this year. In the previous video, we were speculating that the icon this year might actually be the Usher because of the Slaughter Cinema announcement, a lot of the themes that seemed like they were playing out this year. But it looks like that might be changing. We're actually hearing rumor now that the icon for this year, believe it or not, might actually end up being Major Sweets. It seems like Major Sweets might be playing a significant role in this year's event. And we'll talk a little bit about why that is. I'll show you some of the stuff on the map and what we're thinking is going to go down. So it could be that Major Sweets ends up being an icon this year, or at least has a significant presence. Let's talk about the first house that we've got. This is a confirmed house, and it is Monstrous Monsters of Latin America. There in the very first slot there on the left A. That is a house from a previous year. It actually won House of the Year award last year. It was in Hollywood last year. And so they're actually bringing that to Orlando. We expect it to be very similar based on some of the things that we've read on Twitter, some of the announcements, some of the people who are responsible for actually creating these houses. A lot of the information, a lot of the layouts, the props, all that stuff were actually sent to Universal Orlando. So we're expecting it to be pretty similar to what was experienced in Hollywood last year, which looks like a really cool, fun house. And we did have this on our prior speculation map, so we were right on the money with that one, so I'm excited about that. This particular location in previous years has not had the best houses. I'll be totally transparent. Last year was Blood Moon Dark Offerings. Before that, it was Hell Block Horror, which was a last-minute ad because we believe they lost an IP. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit worried about that location. So Monstrous being such a cool house last year in Hollywood might actually break the curse of this particular location. We might actually get a really fun house. So we'll see. Let's stay tuned on that one. Soundstage 22, the very next slot up there. In the B slot, we are going to be getting Insidious, probably based off the Red Door movie that's just coming out. So this is not a confirmed house, but we're pretty sure that's what we're going to end up with. We've seen some of the facade that's being built. It does seem to align to that. It does seem like we got to get a Blumhouse, of course, house this year. We've been getting a lot of those lately. So pretty sure that we're going to get Insidious. Insidious has been done in the past, and it was a great house. This particular location has had things like Ghostbusters in it, Stranger Things. Pretty excited about this one. Should be pretty cool. Insidious is insidious. Does anybody remember that preview? That was horrible, but that was what it said. Soundstage 23, the other part of that one, we are going to be getting none other than, who are you going to call? The Ghostbusters. We are pretty sure it's not confirmed just yet, but I have a feeling in the next week or so, we'll probably actually get confirmation on this one. Ghostbusters, believed to be themed off of the brand new movie Frozen Empire. I'm really hoping for a cold house on this one. Don't see any other cold houses just yet in the confirmations. We gotta have a cold house this year. Those are my favorite houses. The Yeti house, the amazing Winter's Wake house. Those were such cool houses. Always my favorites, the cold houses. I gotta say, it's gonna be Frozen Empire. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, I'm calling it now. It's gonna be a cold house. I'm excited about it. Let us know what you think. Are you pumped about Ghostbusters returning to Halloween Horror Nights? And are you hoping it's a cold house based on Frozen Empire? I don't know what you think about Frozen Empire, the movie. Doesn't matter. I just want a cold house. And this house has had some heavy hitters in the past Halloween. We've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and of course, Stranger Things 4 was there, so have high hopes for this one. Moving right along, we have our first confirmed IP house, and that is in the D slot. That is Soundstage 24, and it is none other than The Quiet Place. The Quiet Place is finally coming to Halloween Horror Nights after years and years of people wanting it, asking for it, speculating that it's coming. We're finally getting one. I don't know how it's gonna work. Seems like it's gonna be weird. I don't feel like it's gonna be quiet in there. I'm just telling you. I think it's gonna be really loud and screamish. But maybe it starts out quiet. A lot of the Halloween Horror Nights houses actually do start out very quiet when you're first kind of coming in, because there's not a lot of scares right away. And I have a feeling it's going to start out a little bit quiet, and then it's going to get real crazy real quick. It does say that it is based on the first and second movies, not the new prequel that's coming out, which is, I think, good news. Because I don't know what to think about the prequel just yet, because we haven't seen it. Can't tell by the previews if it's going to be good or not, but the first two movies I'm a big fan of, so I'm glad that they've based it off of them and that family. It says, like the Abbott family, you must keep quiet as you travel from the farmhouse to the woods to the foundry. And of course, as soon as you make a noise, boom, all of the monsters are going to come out and pretty much put you to bed. So I am excited about this one. I think it's cool. I think it's cool IP. I don't know that I've ever seen a house that has tried to build something off of being quiet, just like there's never been movies like that, so this could be pretty cool. On the other side of Soundstage 24 in the east lot there, we've got Triplets of Terror, which is a confirmed new house. I don't know what to think about this particular house. It doesn't sound super exciting to me. We'll see. Basically, you're invited to the Barmy Triplets birthday celebration. But they celebrate their birthday by recreating all of their family members' murders. So I don't know how this is going to go. 3 characters, obviously going to be a big focus on that. I don't know. I don't know much about it, obviously. It's a new house, new thing that's never been done. I do know that we have had some heavy original houses in that location in years past. We've had Yeti Campground Kills, which won the Halloween Horror Nights House of the Year, and Dead Man's Pier Winter's Wake. Both were cold houses, by the way, and those were actually my 2 favorite houses for the last couple of years. So it's got a lot to live up to in that location. I'm not sure that it's going to, but I have been wrong before. For example, Darkest Deal, I didn't really give much credit to prior to actually doing Darkest Deal when we had heard about it, and then it ended up being one of the coolest houses that year. So we could be wrong. Triplets of Terror could be a heavy hitter. Fast and the Furious location is Major Suites. That is a confirmed house. And so Major Suites making another appearance. If you remember in Halloween Horror Nights 31, there was the Sweet Revenge Scare Zone where Major Suites was a big part of that. Not the best scare zone, if I'm being transparent. I thought there needed to be more interaction because that particular scare zone has had a lot of interactions. But Major Suites has been part of Halloween Horror Nights in the past, and it looks like Major Suites might be a big part of it this year. So we've got Major Suites Candy Factory. Apparently, we are chaperoning a field trip to the Candy Factory. Unfortunately, these sugary treats turn all the kids into deadly, sugar-filled monsters that want to consume you. So, could be a cool house. I like candy themes. I feel like that's fun. Lots of giant lollipops and things, maybe. I don't know. I'm hoping for like a low-key hoping for kind of like a Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory feel, except with lots of like scary stuff in it, but we'll see what we get. Chucky and Horrors of Blumhouse was there in previous years, so pretty good houses there. Surprisingly, I thought Chucky last year was kind of going to be a bust because I was like, I don't know, Chucky, little doll, I'm not sure how well that's going to play out. They nailed it. The Chucky house was awesome last year. I still don't know how they did it. I mean, they had some giant Chuckies in there too, but even the dolls, the way they used it was just totally cool. So we'll see how this goes. We'll talk more about Major Suites in just a little bit. Sprung tent number 3, all the way over there by Men in Black, is going to be Goblin's Feast. Another original house for the year confirmed. It's been announced. We're going to be headed to the Goblin's Feast Tavern, where goblins and hobgoblins and orcs are all meeting to celebrate and have an amazing, amazing meal at this place. But unfortunately, we, the guests, are the main course. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that. Hoping that we get like a little bit of a How to Train Your Dragon mead hall feel to that particular house. Lots of like oak and wood and just basically a general all-around fun tavern. I think that could be really cool. Last year there wasn't anything in this particular tent. This is a new tent for the year because we got rid of the parade warehouses this year. So parade warehouse 1 and 2, which are typically way back there where the parade floats come from, behind ET and all of that area, those are not going to be used this year. So they're actually going to be storing the Mardi Gras and the floats. All the float components are going to be staying in there. They've had a lot of drainage issues back there too. If you remember going back there in previous years, and for some reason it always downpours on Halloween Horror Nights opening night. It's so annoying. I have my Halloween Horror Nights special shoes that I only wear to Halloween Horror Nights because of that fact. I've ruined so many shoes there. But basically back there when it rains, there's water literally this high, like halfway up to your knee. That you have to walk through. Like, they don't have a way to walk around it. I don't know. They have a lot of problems with water back there. So they got rid of the 2 parade houses for this year. So we've got 2 new sprung tents. This is one of them. So nothing there last year. We'll see. I'm not sure how I feel about the sprung tents. I do like the big, large buildings with cool facades on the front of them. And some of the sprung tents, we haven't really gotten a lot of that, but some of the sprung tents we have. So it's really going to depend on how they end up utilizing the space. Could be pretty cool. The next brand new sprung tent, number 4, to replace one of the parade warehouses, is over there in the H slot, again by Men in Black, and that is the Bride of Frankenstein. This is going to be the Universal Monsters house. Again, you can say that's an IP if you want to, whatever, doesn't matter to me. But it looks like this might be somewhat kind of a gender-bending, all-female version of the classic monsters. Again, we've said this in the previous video, so I won't belabor the point, but obviously Epic Universe is coming out. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Dark Universe. I have a feeling they're going to use this to kind of try to promote that particular space. Going to have some really cool maybe versions of the female, like Count Dracula female version, Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, I don't know. Lots of different cool, maybe a female werewolf. So could be pretty cool. I'm excited about it. Not confirmed yet, but we're pretty sure that's what it's going to end up being. So let's talk about the eye location all the way over there again by Men in Black, just down to the bottom there. That is sprung tent number 2, and we're going to be getting Slaughter Cinema number 2. If you know anything about Slaughter Cinema, it is one of the most iconic houses of all time because it was basically created and used for all of the ideas that people pitched for Halloween Horror Night houses that didn't make the cut and didn't become houses. So they threw them all in there, created all these little miniature movie versions of all those ideas, and made it into an awesome haunted house. So a lot of the things like the Pumpkin Lord, Lil Boo, believe it or not, and the Yetis that we've been seeing, those all came from Slaughter Cinema 1. And so this year, Slaughter Cinema 2, I'm excited because not only are we going to maybe get a cool house with all these different variations of things, we're going to get a sneak peek, I hope, into all the things that have been pitched for the last few years that didn't quite make the cut. And that also means that some of those things that didn't make the cut might actually turn into houses in the future. So that could be exciting too. You may see something in that house and be like, wow, that looks really cool. Who knows, maybe next year that actually ends up being a house for the year. So I'm excited about this particular house. Sounds really cool. This is where Usher, so we were thinking that Usher might be part of this house. Thought he might become the icon for the year. Still think he might be part of the actual house, being the Usher, movies, all the stuff that goes on with Slaughter Cinema. But I'm not sure if he's going to be the icon this year. I'm still kind of hoping that he is, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll talk about that in just a bit. Also wondering if there's going to be maybe some sort of black and white room or black and white movies in some particular area of this house. If you remember the tribute store from last year, there was sort of that black and white room. It had that big alien creature, almost kind of felt very movie-esque and cartoon-esque in that particular room. I'm wondering if we're actually going to get a black and white room, maybe not the whole house, but maybe a cool black and white room in that particular house. Could be pretty cool. So right next door there in the J slot, that is the sprung tent number 1. It is going to be the Museum Deadly Exhibits. And apparently we're going to be visiting a museum and going to the folklore exhibit called the Rotting Stone. But unfortunately, while we're there visiting and checking out the Rotting Stone exhibit, of course, evil escapes and all heck breaks loose and we're all gonna die. So I'm excited. Not as excited as I was, if I'm being honest, because I was really hoping for a mummy house this year. What a letdown. I mean, you're already doing all of that stuff with the museum, and I don't know, I was hoping for some sort of like pier, I don't know, something. Hoping for a mummy house this year. Didn't end up happening. Again, hey, I give it to you. You don't have a lot of money this year because you're putting all your stuff into Epic Universe, and I'll give you a pass on that, but still could be a cool house. I don't know. Some of the things that have been there in the past, Darkest Deal, again, was a sleeper hit for me. Descendants of Destruction, and we also had Puppet Theater there. Those ones were just okay. But hey, Darkest Deal was there, so I don't know, maybe we'll get something cool. Alright, so out of all the cool IPs, we've got Ghostbusters, Quiet Place, Insidious is Insidious, and Universal Monsters. I'm not that excited about all the IPs. I think the one I'm the most excited about is The Quiet Place, just because I kind of want to see what they're gonna do with that. Ghostbusters could be really cool just in the fact that it is maybe gonna be a cold house, so I'm excited for that if it ends up being a cold house. But the other two, Universal Monsters, I think will be cool, yes, for sure. Insidious, I'm not like a huge fan of Insidious, so it doesn't really draw me, but a lot of people love Insidious, I get it. So Quiet Place could be pretty cool, but there's no IP that's really just like drawing me and like, man, I'm so excited to see that. So we'll find out. I have high hopes though, because some of the original houses seem really cool to me, so I'm kind of pumped about those. And what ends up actually happening is that a lot of people go for the IPs because they're excited about it. Ooh, I want to see that thing. And then a lot of the original houses end up being way better than the IPs anyway. So that could also happen this year. Now let's talk about the scare zones. Almost no information is known about the scare zones. That is tight-lipped right now. But it does look like we're going to be getting the Megan Horde back this year. So hopefully it's improved this year. I'm really hoping that they put like the times or something for when the Megan Horde is going to make an appearance. Because last year, it was impossible to see the Megan Horde. It was either raining, so they couldn't come out, or they were having lighting issues in the locations where the Megan Horde was, and they had a couple of locations, so they could have actually been out and doing their thing, but you didn't know because you were at the wrong location. There was no way to know. I asked the team members, hey, do you know if Megan Horde's? They didn't know. Nobody knew. Even the team members that were working the spots, they didn't know. So getting even a glimpse of the Megan Horde last year was almost impossible. So I'm really hoping that they fix that problem this year, because it was actually pretty annoying. I know lots of people that went many times to Halloween Horror Nights and never saw Megan Horde. So hopefully this year it's coming back. Pretty sure it's going to come back. We're going to put it in the same location it was last year. That was the primary location for it. But let's hope that we have a better system for actually seeing them this year. We'll cross our fingers. So earlier we were speculating that the Usher or Slaughter Cinema in some way is going to become the overall theme for the scare zones. Because if you look at the merchandise, there's basically the main character from Slaughter Cinema, the sort of skeleton with the punk rock and all that stuff is really part of the merchandise. He's gonna be part of Slaughter Cinema. Made it kind of feel like maybe we're gonna get some sort of theme around the scare zones in that space. Now we're just not sure. Major Sweets is all of a sudden making an appearance, and so we're wondering if we're actually going to get Major Sweets Scare Zone and obviously the Major Sweets house. Major Sweets could actually become the icon this year too. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of excited for it. Let's talk about the actual scare zones. So the very first scare zone that you enter in there, we're just kind of referring to, it's in the K spot there. It's the one that you see when you first come in. We're just calling that Horrors of Halloween for now because we don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it always ends up being similar in that it is a general Halloween themed type location. So lots of like pumpkins and just normal things that you would see from Halloween. Even when Dr. Oddfellow was the icon, and a lot of the scare zones around the property were all Dr. Oddfellows, that particular location right in the front there just ended up being a lot of like normal Halloween type theme things. So we're kind of planning on that again this year. We don't know the name yet, but it's probably gonna be in that same theme. Then if you take that immediate bend over to the right, that's where we end up in that O spot, which we're tentatively calling for now the Night of the Dead. It looks like they might be reusing some of the previous costumes and props and things from from previous years where they've actually done this sort of like Day of the Dead like theme with all the face paint on the characters, some of the different garb and things from Day of the Dead, that it seems like that's what this could potentially be. But I'm tentatively calling it Night of the Dead because it's going to be at nighttime. It's going to be the night of the Day of the Dead. I don't know what it's going to end up being called, but I'm kind of leaning in that direction. Now, there was speculation that this particular scare zone could have been the weekend scare zone, but it looks like we've lost that this year. Again, I think just money and dollars are just coming into play really heavily this year for Halloween Horror Nights, so they're having to cut back. They're losing some IPs that they were hoping for. The weekend was potentially supposed to be there, but it looks like that's no longer the case. So we could be getting a Day of the Dead / Night of the Dead type reuse, which could be pretty cool because in the previous years there was a lot of black lighting and things like that was used, so a lot of the face paint and things were all lit up. Now the next scare zone just down, we don't have any information on. We just don't know. So we're going to take a trip over to the park when it gets a little bit closer. Hopefully some of the decorations will start going up if we don't get confirmation between now and then what that scare zone is. We've done that in the past. We've gone over, we've looked at some of the props and things they're setting up, and it gives us a much better idea of what that zone is going to be. Continuing around the bend up there by the Wizarding World area, Diagon Alley, it looks like we're getting some sort of dolls of some kind, some sort of deadly dolls type scare zone. Now I heard rumor that they're actually talking about shaving some scare actors' heads for a scare zone. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe a bald cap, but I don't know. If I was a scare actor, I don't know how willing I would be to shave my head for this gig. But maybe. I'm not sure, but this could potentially be this location here with the deadly dolls, because that could be really kind of spooky with lots of people that look like killer dolls without any hair. So that could be kind of neat. Don't know yet, but that's our speculation in that space. And then all the way back over there by the Mummy, we're tentatively just saying we think there might be a Major Sweets type zone here. We're just going to call it Sweet Revenge number 2 because that was the exact location where Sweet Revenge number 1 was. Again, Major Sweets potentially playing a big factor this year. Could be a part 2 there. Hopefully if it is, it's more interactive, which was my complaint. Previous years, that particular scare zone has had lots of interactions, audience participation. Last year, or in Halloween Horror Nights 31 with the Sweet Revenge, there really wasn't. So we'll see. It's a big scare zone. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest scare zone. Yeah, I think it's the biggest scare zone actually on property. So could be Major Sweets, kind of extends really far down that path there. And Major Sweets might end up being the icon. All right, so let's talk about the shows. We're calling it again. We're calling it this year. We're calling it that we're going to get 2 shows. We're going to get Nightmare Fuel there over in the P spot, over in the normal spot. We're getting another Nightmare Fuel. There's just no way we're not. I'm not even going to talk about it because you know we're going to get it. And then Q in the Lagoon, I think we're getting a water show. I think we're getting a drone/water show. Don't know the theme just yet, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get it. We already know we're going to get the drone/water show for the summer. It actually comes out supposedly in a couple of weeks. So pretty sure we're going to get that again, something for Halloween Horror Nights. I just don't think they're announcing it because they want to see how the rehearsals and everything go with regards to the summer. I do know they just announced that there are going to be special pass holder locations. So if you're an annual pass holder, there will be special seating locations for you during the summer Water Lagoon show. Could also maybe get that for Halloween Horror Nights. Could potentially get a pass holder specific viewing location for that. And then of course the last thing is Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We're getting the Death Eaters again. You know we're going to get it. It's going to be over there in Diagon Alley. We should see them again. I really think they're pretty cool. I like that. Still wish they do a little bit more in that space with regards to Halloween Horror Nights, but I understand why they don't, because it doesn't thematically work. But Death Eaters do, and they're cool, so we're going to get that. All right, so let's throw up the map again one final time and just kind of summarize everything. We've got 3 to 4 IP depending on Universal. We've got Insidious, Ghostbusters, and The Quiet Place, and then a potential all-female version of the Universal Classic Monsters, Bride of Frankenstein, of some kind, something in that space. So we got 4 IPs if you count Universal, and we've got 6 original houses. All the original houses are confirmed. The Quiet Place is also confirmed. So we've got those. We've got 3 shows total if you include the Death Eaters, the Water Lagoon, Nightmare Fuel, and the Death Eaters. And then we've got still the 5 scare zones, a couple of which are really starting to come to fruition. Still a little bit iffy on a couple of them. And then we've got the Megan Horde most likely making a return. So that rounds it out. That's our speculation and confirmed information about Halloween Horror Nights 33. Are you excited like we are? Be sure to keep checking back on this channel because we'll keep updating you as soon as we know more. And we'll keep talking about what we're excited about. And we're going to keep doing construction videos. Be on the lookout for those. As soon as we start seeing more construction go up around the parks, we're going to be heading out to Universal, walking around, getting shots of the actual things in progress so we can talk more about it. Let us know what you are the most excited for. Let us know all the things that you think we're wrong about. Everything that I said I'm wrong about, or that I said that you think I'm wrong about, call it out. I'd love to hear from you because we'll adjust what we're thinking based on your feedback. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification button. You know what? I don't say that often enough. Hit that notification button because a lot of people have been telling us they don't get notified when our new stuff drops, even though they're subscribed, even though they have hit the notification. Maybe try unhitting it and hitting it again. Maybe that'll help. We've got lots of other content. Check out our Epic Universe content. So much stuff going on. Our construction update visits, our visits to the actual site to see where they're at. Lots of videos there. Check them out below. Thanks again for joining us. Until we see you next time, the Noble Way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.